What's up, everybody? D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla King of the Monsters discussion video. It's not quite a Godzilla King of the Monsters discussion video. It kind of is, but not really. We are going to be talking about how the Godzilla King of the Monsters post-credit sets up for the future of the MonsterVerse. I have covered everything in the post-credits, or, you know, the montage that plays during the credits, but today we are actually going to be breaking down what all of that actually means, rather than just talking about it generally. Speaking of talking about things generally, let's talk about the general setup that I don't know what to call it. It's not post-credits, the credits. Let's talk about the general setup that the credits sets up for the future of the MonsterVerse and how that might play out in the future. We start out by learning that people are trying to build devices to replicate the Titan's calls. This is setting up for the return of the Orca in the future of the MonsterVerse. That could be a great device utilized to get Godzilla and Kong to fight. Someone could trigger the Orca, they could both become hyper aggressive, it could wake up more Titans around the world, it could be used for a whole bunch of different things. Monarch believes that there are more dormant Titans living underneath major cities on the planet. That is just saying that, yeah, we could see more Toho monsters show up, we could see more new monsters show up. The monsters that we know about in Godzilla King of the Monsters are not the only ones. We are open to having more. That is essentially what that is telling us. We hear that the Titans are returning to their natural environment, which is just getting them out of the way, because if we had Godzilla vs. Kong in this world where there's just Behemoth is running around, Scylla's running around, Methuselah is still tearing up cities, if Godzilla vs. Kong had all that going on, it'd be way overcrowded. So I think what they're setting up for is just the monsters to be out of the way. They're like, the monsters just went back into hibernation. Some of them are still up, but most of them are gone. One of the ones that is in hibernation is Rodan, who is said to be nesting in a volcano north of Fiji. So I don't actually expect to be seeing much of Rodan. I think it'd be cool to see more of Rodan. They left him alive for a reason. That reason could be so that they can get their use out of him in the future, but I don't think we're going to see more of it. I would be okay seeing Rodan in Godzilla vs. Kong, seeing Kong fight Rodan, just as long as it's not like distracting from the fight. That could be a good entry-level fight for Kong, so we can see how established Kong is in this new MonsterVerse, in this new however many years later from when we last saw him. If we check back in with Kong, see him fight Rodan, then we can get a little bit of a sense of how tough Kong has gotten. That'd be cool, but I don't actually think we're going to see Rodan. And then the final thing is that Monarch is now operating with 100% transparency, which you get the sense that they do that in King of the Monsters already, but now it seems that the public is fully aware of things like Skull Island and everything else like that, which it will affect Skull Island. I mean, there's a reason in Kong Skull Island that they make a point of being like, yeah, we're not going to tell people about the island, because if we do, they are going to go destroy it. People are just going to go there looking for a fight. They are going to go there destroying the ecosystem. We are not going to tell people about the island. And now everyone knows. It'll be interesting to see if that winds up playing a role in Godzilla vs. Kong, if maybe the public consciousness of Skull Island, now that people know that Skull Island exists, if that winds up being important to the plot. Seems like Godzilla has a new mission during the time off, during the time between King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong, and that is trying to keep all the other Titans in check. Seems like he's just kind of traveling the globe, making sure that none of the other monsters are getting out of hand, destroying too many cities, or wind up causing some sort of shift in the balance of the ecosystem. Godzilla is just trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. So Godzilla seems like he's going to be quite busy between the time that King of the Monsters leaves off and Godzilla vs. Kong starts. I don't know what that means for his character. I mean, we know that the public now likes Godzilla because they're like, yeah, he saved us multiple times, he's a good guy. It'll be interesting to see, though, if they do reference the fact that Godzilla is kind of going around beating up monsters around the world. There is a big potential of Mothra returning. Not only do we see moths flying all around the post-credits or the credit montage hinting that she'll be back, but Monarch has also discovered a new Mothra egg. I've done a full video about the return of Mothra, so we're not going to really talk about it here. It is confirmed to be Mothra's egg by Michael Dougherty, so there is the Mothra egg out there in the world. And then there is mentions that people have been able to develop telepathic communications with certain Titans. I think that's again setting up for the Mothra communication with the fairies. And then potential communication with Kong. I feel like Kong would be a Titan that it would make sense that you communicate with, although it'd be a little weird, you know, I don't want to know what he's thinking. I just want them to be like, okay, yeah, we have this connection with Kong, we can kind of emotionally connect. I think Xia Zhang's characters could do that. That'd be interesting. Monarch and Skull Island, there is some weird stuff going on there that you guys really have been begging me to talk about, so let's discuss it. Monarch has had heavy involvement with Skull Island. They are messing around on Skull Island a lot more than they ever have. We know in the 70s they weren't even allowed to get on the island. Kong destroyed every everything. In the 90s, same deal. At some point after 2012, they must go back to Skull Island, and they apparently establish an outpost there. It's Outpost 33. So they establish an outpost there. I don't know how that works. I don't know why Kong allowed it or what the deal with that is, but they do go back. They get Aaron Brooks, who gets stranded there in Skull Island, Birth of Kong. They get Aaron Brooks. They get him back to safety. Meanwhile, they set up an outpost on the island. So that'll be very interesting to see what happens with that in Godzilla vs. Kong. Skull Island has apparently gotten the majority of Monarch's attention since the events of Godzilla King of the Monsters, and the public has become slightly suspicious of how involved Monarch is with the island. Again, it's just setting up for Monarch to be involved with the island by the time Godzilla vs. Kong starts. That way, when the movie kicks off and, they have an outpost there, we're not confused. There's multiple missions that have been sent to the island because they want to explore the Hollow Earth. Apparently, Skull Island has a Hollow Earth entry point they want to utilize in investigating what lies beneath the surface of the world. And Monarch is fully aware that things have gone out of balance on Skull Island since Ghidorah's awakening, which we do learn a little bit more about in the novelization, that Skull Island kind of just erupts when Ghidorah does his mass awakening call, and Kong is not happy about it. Monarch has big plans, that is the direct quote, big plans to deal with the Titans. I don't know what those big plans will be, but they certainly have me interested. Big, the word big, seems to be a key word implying that something large is going to be used. That something large could be a mech. That has been something that has been a long-standing rumor for the MonsterVerse. A lot of people have always thought that Mechagodzilla will show up because Gareth Edwards had always said he wanted to get to the point where in the MonsterVerse humanity felt like they had to build their own Godzilla. Who wanted to get to that point at some point. So big plans to deal with the Titans could reference that mech, but Monarch straight out denies it, which is also really important because it brings up the idea of a mech directly. In one of the news articles, the idea of a mech is brought up directly, saying that there is a potential mech being built on Skull Island. Monarch denies that outright. They say there is not. Dr. De La Rose says that there is no mech on the island. He says there's no Mecha Titan or Kaiju, whatever. But he does mention that they have tried to build their own bio Kaiju that have failed. I will have a full video talking about that coming up next. That will be the next one we do, is talking about the bio Titan stuff going on in King of the Monsters. But there's apparently no mech on the island according to Monarch, and I tend to believe them. I know a lot of fans don't. I know a lot of fans go, no, they didn't put that in there for no reason. They didn't. And I agree, they didn't. They probably put that in because we will see a mech in the MonsterVerse. I just don't think it will be Monarch's, or I don't think it will be, I don't know. It's weird because we'll go through the options here. A mech being built on Skull Island seems like a reference to Mechanicong. It's not going to be Mechanicong. They're not going to build Mechanicong for a number of reasons. It's a less recognizable character than Mechagodzilla, so why would you do it? And more importantly, Mechanicong's rights in the real world, the rights to Mechanicong are tied up in Rankin Bass, if they're even still around, whoever owns the rights now. Rankin Bass, I know that was a big problem back with Toho, because Toho also has the rights to Mechanicong. Multiple people, at the end of the day, this is the important thing, multiple people have the rights to Mechanicong, and they don't agree on how to use those rights. So it'd be really surprising if the MonsterVerse somehow got that all sorted out so that they could use Mechanicong, but it just seems so unnecessary. Mechanicong just seems like the biggest far-fetched thing to see. I don't think we're gonna see it. As for the next mech we may see, which is the one that a lot of people think we will, Mecha King Ghidorah. They think they're gonna revive Ghidorah, not in terms of the traditional sense, but they're gonna build him a new mecha body, and I disagree. I don't think so for a few reasons. Number one, it's the left head that survives. That's Kevin who survives. It's not the middle head. It'd be weird to rebuild Ghidorah with just the left head and then the other two are mechs. Or you could say, they're gonna shock it back to life. It'll regenerate as much of the body as it can, and then they'll build the rest using mecha parts. It's a possibility, but I don't think that it would work. I don't see mind control being a thing in the MonsterVerse. Sure, you have the Orca, which can make a monster docile or make it aggressive, but you can't get the Orca to tell the monster what to do. It was never even hinted at that you could get the Orca to do that. You can't turn the Orca on and say, all right, now fire your gravity beams right now at this exact point. The Orca can direct it, can make the monster mad and make Ghidorah chase them, or make Godzilla angry, or make Mothra calm down, but it can't tell the monster what to do. It can't command the monster. So I don't think that Mecha King Ghidorah is a possibility. I just don't see that working. Also, Jonah Allen does not seem like he has the budget to be able to build a Mecha King Ghidorah. He just does not seem that well funded. So I'm gonna say no Mecha King Ghidorah. Also, if it was Mecha King Ghidorah being built on Skull Island, Monarch wouldn't deny its existence. They would probably be intervening. They would be like, hey, please don't build that thing on our island. You're a bad guy and we're gonna kill you now because you're a bad guy and we want that head back. They're not gonna be like, oh, no, public, there's no mech being built on the island. We're oblivious to it if there is. If there is, we don't know about it. I don't know how you guys heard about about it, we're going to be busy sending multiple missions to the island that somehow overlook the massive evil corporation building Mecha King Ghidorah over in the corner. I just don't see it happening. Finally is Mechagodzilla, which is a huge possibility. This is the one that has been the long-standing rumor since 2014 when Godzilla, the first one, came out. It's been a long-standing rumor that Mechagodzilla will show up. Legendary has used the rights to Mechagodzilla in Ready Player One, so they have already toyed around with the character, meaning they do have the rights from Toho. They can use the character of Mechagodzilla, or at least they could for Ready Player One. We don't know if they still can for the MonsterVerse, but at least we know that the ability to get that character from Toho is on the table because they've done it before. So Mechagodzilla could show up. That would be possible. The problem is I don't see a way for Mechagodzilla to work in the MonsterVerse at the point we're at. You put Mechagodzilla in Godzilla vs. Kong, there's no point for him to be there. Mechagodzilla in Godzilla vs. Kong is so out of place. It's three good guys at that point. This is Monarch building the mech on the island. Monarch is good guys, and I've talked about in live streams the idea of Monarch maybe becoming corrupt post Serizawa. Once Serizawa's dead, maybe someone corrupt takes charge. I don't think that's gonna happen. I just think there's too many good people on Monarch to let that happen. So I'm gonna say no, there's not gonna be an evil Mechagodzilla being built on Skull Island. I just don't see that being a possibility. Why would Monarch build Mechagodzilla and then use Mechagodzilla to get Godzilla to fight Kong? That also doesn't make sense. If they really wanted to, they just build Mechagodzilla. Now they can fight either monster on their own. They don't need Godzilla and Kong to fight. Or Godzilla and Kong are fighting. Is Mechagodzilla supposed to be the thing that Godzilla and Kong team up against? Or is Mechagodzilla going to come in and provide aid to one monster or the other? Or is it just going to be a big three-way battle? It would get so convoluted and complicated. There is no point to having Mechagodzilla there, even though I think they are building to a point where it would feel natural for Monarch to be able to build a Mechagodzilla. They have the Argo Jet, which is this incredibly futuristic technology. It's almost like a spaceship, you know? It's like future technology there. It's the Super X3 of the MonsterVerse. So they build the Argo Jet, and now you go, okay, we can step into the mech territory. I don't see us jumping from the Argo Jet straight to Mechagodzilla. I think there needs to be a progression over time. I don't think you can just go from one to the other. You couldn't even do that in the 90s continuity. They didn't just go, oh yeah, we're gonna go straight into Mechagodzilla. They had to use mechanical parts from the future in order to build Mechagodzilla. They couldn't build them on their own. So I just don't see it being a likely possibility. And then you could go to the evil side. You could say, well, Mechagodzilla is not going to be Monarch's. He's going to be Jonah Allen's or someone. Again, I'm going to make the argument no one's well funded enough to build a Mechagodzilla outside of Monarch. It's just not happening. Jonah Allen cannot build a Mechagodzilla. It would not make any sense. So I don't know. I think that they put that there to tease the fact that there could be a mech in the MonsterVerse, but I don't think it's there as direct setup to say, yes, we are gonna see Mechagodzilla in the MonsterVerse confirmed. I don't think that's what that's saying at all. And again, Mechanicong I think is out of the picture, not even on the table, and Mecha King Ghidorah just doesn't seem to make sense for the point the MonsterVerse is at. It wouldn't realistically make sense. So there is my takeaway from the post-credits from Godzilla King of the Monsters. What do you guys think about it? And I keep saying post-credits. I know that's got to be real confusing because I did a post-credit video about Jonah Allen and the actual post-credit scene, but this is about the credit montage. What do you guys think? Do you guys still think that Mechagodzilla is going to show up? How do you think that would work? How would that work? How would Mechagodzilla joining the fight make any sense in Godzilla vs. Kong? It wouldn't. Why would he be fighting them? I just don't get it. I don't know, guys. Comment below. Let me know. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. D-Man out.